Sorry, but that's what they all say. Here's a thought. If things are so bad in your country, why don't you stay there and fix it? Why not do the courageous thing instead of being cowards and deal with your country, your state, your city, your neighborhood? Just a crazy, wacky idea. Now, this caravan will undoubtedly make a left turn as it approaches Arizona and it heads straight for Tijuana, just south of California. Why? Because Governor Moonbeam has thrown out the welcome mat. However, to that, a growing number of California residents are saying, no más, no more. Joining me now from Los Angeles, former Republican member of the California Assembly and congressional candidate, California District 8, Tim Donnelly. Tim, you are openly, actively calling for the arrest, I believe by the President of the United States is what you're suggesting, of Governor Brown. I call him Governor Moonbeam. On what grounds?
Well, on the grounds that he's violated his oath. Every elected official, and Brown is no exception, takes an oath of office where they swear to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the land. Well, the Constitution enumerates in Article 4, Section 4, and in two other places that immigration is the purview of the federal government. In fact, the language is very strong. It says that the federal government shall keep each state free from invasion. So that makes it the supreme law of the land. And as the supreme law of the land, Jerry Brown doesn't have the option to turn California into a sanctuary, not only for illegal aliens, but for criminal illegal aliens, because it's a violation of federal law to aid and abet and to harbor anyone who is in the country illegally in violation of federal immigration law. So Jerry Brown's no different than any other lawbreaker. I think he ought to be arrested and thrown in jail.
I'll give you Article 4, and I'll up you Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, which delineates it's the Congress that regulates naturalization. They called it naturalization back then. But also to call forth the militia to enforce the laws of the Union. That's almost a direct quote from my memory. I do believe it's correct. To make sure that our laws, a.k.a. immigration law, is enforced. And so I would say that the Congress is responsible here, possibly more than the President of the United States. Either way, you consider Jerry Brown, a.k.a. Governor Moonbeam, an enemy of the people, and not just the people of the state of California, but the United States?
Well, absolutely. I mean, he's made it crystal clear he has no regard for the Union. He believes that I guess that he's more powerful than the president, and that there is no separation of powers, that the Constitution has no tension between the 10th Amendment and the enumerated duties. A lot of people who push the 10th Amendment, and I'm one of them, for states' rights, forget that there are enumerated duties to the federal government, and those duties are sacrosanct. That is the entire purpose of the federal government. You laid it out, but the power is to the people. So that gives us the right, and I've called up the Minutemen to go to the border for a 24-hour muster. We're going to secure the border whether Jerry likes it or not. I've dared him to arrest me, but I don't think he'll come anywhere near a group of patriots and citizens that might affect a citizen's arrest on him.
I want to talk about this patrol. You are one of the founders of Minutemen, correct?
That is correct. I was I went to the original protest in Arizona in 2005, and then I formed the largest group in the state of California, and we secured the California U.S.-Mexico border for 30 straight days in October of 2005.
And so you're calling for a muster next month. I want to get into details of that in just a second. But first of all, you're calling for a muster of Minutemen. But in reality, you're calling for just run-of-the-mill American citizens who want to secure the southern border and are observing what is happening in California and observing what is not happening in Washington, D.C., a.k.a. the wall is not being funded, and the resistance that President Trump is receiving from Jerry Brown and sending troops to the border to kind of sit there and just do clerical work. This is the kind of thing that riles up Americans and will want, in many cases, people will want to join your effort to try and secure the southern border at California.
Well, Graham, there's a full-scale revolt going in California. You've seen it in the sanctuary city opt-outs where you have protesters. That's a political movement. But I really think we need to focus just for a second on the real threat. And the real threat is the government enabling this and saying, hey, by the way, everyone who's coming here, just like one of the fellows on your previous clip said, don't look dangerous. Well, neither did Luis Bracamontes. His neighbors in Utah thought he was the nicest guy in the world. He was a gardener. He came here for a better life, right up until he assassinated 2 sheriff's deputies in Northern California.